Welcome everyone to Grape Finance's weekly AMA. I'm Nikki, and I'm here with LB coming on from Dubai. How are you, man?
Good. Thanks everyone for joining in.
Yeah. So, you've been to one of those conferences, right? How many days was it, and how was it?
It was 2 days. It was like midweek. This conference was more of a sort of blockchain type conference, if you know what I mean by that. Like it was a lot of miners, a lot of hardware, a lot of payment gateways and sort of exchanges and things like that. For example, like Bitmain was there, Bybit, and kind of a lot of things like that. There were a couple of main points there, which is kind of funny. I forgot the name of it, but it's like some dog coin. But it was pretty busy though. It was good to go and kind of meet a whole bunch of people in the crypto space though. Mainly from around the world. Surprisingly though, there was a lot of Russians at this event.
All right.
I don't know exactly why, but maybe it's Russians always have liked crypto anyway, I guess. But it was very there were a lot of Russians at this event. In terms of numbers.
I can think of some reasons why they would be there, but go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the only places they can kind of go right now.
Yeah, exactly. So the Russians can't really go around the world anymore, but they can go to Dubai. And also, the Russians don't have access to SWIFT anymore. So and any kind of payment or contact payment or card payment doesn't work anymore in Russia. So they're left to cash and the banks and crypto. So if they want to transfer anything anywhere, they kind of need to use crypto or send cash in an envelope. So I would say for sorry?
Cash in an envelope, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So there's a lot of reason for them to be there, I would say.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It was just there was quite I've never seen so many in one place. Like I've never been to Russia, so I don't have an example. There's obviously not a lot in Australia, so yeah. But I don't know. It was a pretty good event anyway. Met quite a lot of people that were from a bunch of different areas of crypto. You kind of being in DeFi so heavily, you kind of forget that the crypto industry is very broad. It's really like DeFi is really, really a very niche part of crypto as a whole, very niche. But majority of crypto is like obviously mining and exchanges and like payments, point of sales and things like that. So it makes sense that was like the majority here. But yeah, I still met some good people from around the world and some local people from Dubai as well that live here that are in the industry, and a couple of game developers actually that working on some cross-chain asset sharing, which is pretty cool. Possibly something we can work with them on that for our game. But overall, I mean, it was a pretty cool event. And it was good fun too.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds awesome. And did you find any wealthy sheiks that want to invest into Grape Finance?
Well, as it comes back to the point that I was like, majority Russians there.
So, all right. Wealthy Russian people, oligarchs, whatever.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there wasn't that many like VC sort of VCs there actually. But the main event that I'm going to that's kind of more suited to us is obviously ETH Dubai, which is pretty heavily focused on DeFi, and it's all on chain. It's you've got speakers like Andre speaking there. So that's the kind of crowd that's kind of more suited for us, really. And that will be in, I think, 2 weeks, a week and a half.
Awesome. So you have two more weeks to kill in the desert there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's worse things, I assume. Awesome, man. Happy to hear it was fun and that you met a lot of Russians. You that sounds great. Um, all right. Shall we go to the questions, or do you have anything else to say about it?
Yeah, we can probably go to the questions, and we finish on some notes too.
All right. Then we'll start with Dirk Oz. It says, "Hey, Lucky Brand. The AMA and AMA recaps on YouTube. The question is, could these be posted in Grape Media instead of just AMA recaps?" Well, I suppose. I suppose. Yeah. That that
Yeah.
that.
I think
Well,
we had an AMA channel, did we? Because the media is kind of more
yeah.
like marketing, I guess, or like yeah, like marketing. I don't know if we had an AMA channel. Maybe we had one in the old Discord.
Yeah, that's what I think. we
Yeah.
kind of forgot about it. Maybe it would simply be nice to put it in the recaps. Like, just there's already a channel for the recaps. Why not just add the full AMAs there as well? So yeah, good
Oh yeah,
suggestion.
for sure.
Rainbow, I assume you're listening. Post them there, and otherwise, LB, you can do it. All right. Moving on to the next question. Could we have timestamped transcripts of AMAs? Well, the transcript part, because this would be welcomed, in my opinion, and much more inclusive for foreign investors to translate and anyone that's had trouble hearing. Yeah, that was the last time. Well, I think YouTube already transcribes everything, so you can just switch that on. But the timestamps might be useful. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess how would we section it off? I mean, I guess because it's mostly questions.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'd need to section it based on question.
Yeah, like so a timestamp for each question or section of questions. Could do that. Give it some thought. Give it some thought. Because it's not a bad idea, and I really hope that people who've had trouble hearing last time will have less trouble this time, because we basically we worked on it. All right. Sam wants to know, are oranges called oranges because they're orange, or is orange called orange because oranges are orange? Well, I think it's because they come from orange. No, I really don't know, man. Our royal family is called the House of Orange, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Really?
Yeah, because they originally come from Orange, in France, originally, like 250 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Peter Flea wants to know, yo fam, can we make vintage deflationary at all? Just want to get LB's thoughts on the future value of this token. Thanks.
Deflationary. I think there are. I mean, there's the mechanism of you have to use it inside the game. I'm pretty sure the seller doesn't burn it directly. No, actually, there is some burning already involved in that part when you unstake. There's a burnt section, and then there's a section to the seller. But in terms of like making it like actually completely deflationary against the inflation it has, it's very difficult because it would mean that we'd need to turn down the inflation, which means that the rewards go down. So it's always a tricky balance to make something so that it's, um, you know, counteracts the inflation with deflation completely. Because there are deflationary mechanisms right now, but if we make it so that it's more than is inflated, then you have to also make sure that there's enough rewards that people actually want to play the game. Otherwise, then no one plays the game, and then it just works the same anyway. But the point of the token right now is very limited, and so we do want to implement new mechanisms to the game, which is something that we have been working on, which is like a broader game update that will utilize essentially the raisin token, but inside that the vintage token as well. So that it can be minted with raisin can be minted with vintage and whatnot, so that you can create some sort of like a flywheel effect almost, where you're incentivized to mint raisin, and therefore burn your vintage that you earn, and play the game in more ways than is currently available right now. So that's part of the larger update for the game, which we'll want to have a live action part as well. So it's a bit more interactive. It's not just like a staking game. And another issue is the gas features of the game. It's always a problem, especially if we hit a bull market again, say the next year, year after. Then it's AVAX, on the main chain. I'm sure the gas cost will increase regardless, but then you also have the fact of AVAX price increasing, which means that, well, then you actually have a double effect of transactions being quite expensive, which is always a problem for games on chain. So you want to limit how much you have on chain. Like we could do subnets, but then there's other costs involved in that, which is actually hosting the subnet, having the AVAX for that, for the validation of that, and making sure that the subnet's actually secure, so that it can't just be exploited. So there's always positives and negatives, but what we want to mainly do really is kind of make sure that the game, we limit how much on-chain stuff there actually is, so that unstaking and restaking, say like 100 NFTs, 200 NFTs at a time, is it's not really
one
economical.
transaction.
Yeah, it's too much, and so we can kind of do it in a way where we can make it more of a game that's not really tied to a chain specifically, but that you can access it from multiple chains is kind of the idea. And then it's more of like an actual game. There's another problem with games is, blockchain games, is that they're not very user friendly, because, well, you need a wallet, you need some gas, you need all these transactions, and there's already like several layers of, what's the word? Several layers of, several blocks,
boundaries.
several like boundaries.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, to entry there, because it's actually difficult to, you have to learn all those things. As a new user, it's kind of, you're very much thrown into the deep end, and it's very much a steep learning curve, which would turn a lot of people off, even hardcore gamers, people that actually like playing games, which should technically be the target market of an on-chain game. But from what we've seen, it's mainly like people hardcore into DeFi. That's the target market, because they have already surpassed those boundaries.
Yeah.
And then new people not really, they they're not bothered to learn all this sort of stuff. So that's another issue that we kind of want to focus on, so that it's not really, you get the benefits of the on-chain, which is like ownership of assets, um, and things like even some sort of token that there's actually has some value behind it, but limit how much is actually on chain in terms of the actual interaction of the game, so that it's not basically a pain in the ass to play. Is the idea. So there's quite a few things there, but in essence, for the game is a major update. So that's kind of something we have been working on. We are moving towards, and that will, integrate with, make sure that vintage and the vintners and the tools all sort of combine together to something with a bit more use case.
Right. Yeah. So basically, since you're going to work with Raisin a bit more, it is in a way going to be, it's going to be about more useful tokens, or it's going to be more rewarding. But you can't really make the vintage itself deflationary, because then you can't use it as a reward token anymore. So that is the thing. So it's elastic, but not purely deflationary, and that's simply the way
it's the
it
balance.
has to be.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the balance there. Yeah.
So Taz says that subnets are so expensive. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And he says transactionless games. Yeah, that would be great. But then you basically are hosting it, sort of. Then what you're doing is putting the game on a website and basically having people pool their assets to some kind of wallet, and then just have people play the game, and then if they win, they can claim from that pool. It's possible. It's just a little bit less DeFi secure, I would say, but it works because you're very much leaning on the front end, I would say. But Taz is a front end guy, so I don't think he sees that as a problem. He's also typing. And
Taz has been doing some good research on this sort of stuff that he's been working on. So he's gone through all these all these issues of like it's going to cost a lot for people to play actually on chain, and it's kind of a trade-off. You have a trade-off between, do you make a game that's relatively complex but on chain, so that people can have full ownership, but then it's going to be very expensive for people to actually play, or so you're actually limited to making a very simple game on chain that's fully on chain, but it has to be very simple to make it cheap. Or you make a complex game, but you offshoot some of the stuff off chain, so that it's cheaper for people to actually play the game, but then you retain some of the benefits of decentralization, like ownership of assets, say, that you can sell assets on secondary markets and things like that. You actually own them. And then you kind of, it's a bit of a trade-off. So everything is within a range. There's a range of decentralization.
Yeah. At the same time, people are wondering. Basically, Sam is wondering that since you sound different, they were wondering like, where's LB and what did you do to him? Anyway,
I sound different.
Really? You sound different, yeah, because of your thing. So Neat Money says, I don't know if we're fully in AMA live chat now, but Neat Grape had some good questions, and I had just a question. Not sure if we were skipped over. Did I miss anything? I did skip over the thing about where oranges come from, like the Arabic naranj from the Persian narang from the Sanskrit naranja, or whatever. Maybe I tuned in late.
From
Wait, let's see
yeah,
what the question was. I can't really. Maybe you can link to
from
the
when you
question.
last sent, from when you last
Oh,
message
wait,
ending
wait, wait,
here.
wait, wait, wait. Yeah, I skipped a few. And that was because I said something about adjusting the mics, and therefore I skipped the questions above. Let's go to those now. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me. Neat Grape is asking, "Hey, Luminous Biome, hope you're having a great time in Dubai. What's it like over there? And what projects, teams, people are you most excited to catch up with while you're over there?" Well, last part of the question still stands because you answered the first part. So, what are you most excited to catch up with while you're over there? Maybe on the ETH
Mm-hmm.
conference.
Yeah, there's a couple people that from projects that we actually already work with, like Gelato. Um, we already have contacts there, and they'll be at this event too. And there's some potential there for things like because I know they have relays for gasless transactions, where I mean, someone still has to pay the gas, but you can take that. I mean, abstract that from the user, which is a nice little UI touch that we want to kind of add into a couple of different aspects actually. And there's someone from Mover Finance will be there, which is the original card provider that we were talking to ages ago, which is actually a full DeFi card, and it's sort of like an off ramp. And there'll be a lot of. I mean, Andre will be there. It'll be cool to kind of meet Andre and just talk some shit about him. How he's farmed the entire of DeFi. But I don't know. Overall, it's just kind of. I'm sure there'll be, and that's all just people from that are speaking there. So that's people that I actually know will be there. But there's going to be a very DeFi focused event, which is I'm actually looking forward to. So I'm
Yeah,
sure there'll
cool.
be a lot of people around.
Really cool. Okay. Then the second question was with the imminent launch of Glacier, which I hear has a very cool team. Of course, it's cool. It's Glacier. Will there be a migration of the tokens that back Grape from a Swapskull Magic Vault to a Glacier one? If so, will this process happen on launch or take some time? And is this a migration that users will need to perform manually, or will it all be done on the back end by the Grape/Magic teams? Long question. Do you know
That's
the
something
answer?
we need to work out because we probably will migrate Xscrape to. Because I know what will be doing is we'll be doing liquidity incentives there. So and then there'll be vaults. I'm pretty sure they're using Dex Finance for vaults, but I'm not 100% sure. We have to wait till it launches and kind of it won't be imminent on launch is what I'm saying. We'll have to wait and then do a migration when we can. But there will be some sort of a migration because right now the Swapskull Magic Vault isn't yielding. So essentially, we'll do something there to migrate Xscrape to something else that's a new LP or a new yielding token. And I'm not sure. I would like to make it so that people don't have to do anything because it's always a pain in the ass to have people do stuff. And if you can just do it yourself, it'd be much better on the back end. But I'm not 100% sure if that's possible. So
All right.
I
All
will
right.
make it as
So,
easy as possible.
okay. And then the next question I will leave as is. Like, in addition, will the LP currently in the presses migrate over to Glacier as well? And if so, what will be done with the GLC rewards paid out to those pairs, put back into the press rewards pool? I think that all remains to be seen, right?
Yeah, we have to see how see what's best for us, and how we restructured this in these incentives here, because we may keep the presses as they are for liquidity on those dexes, and then implement new LPs that do have incentives, so that the LPs actually just more like a yield farm, like a normal, like the vineyard almost. Because it also depends on how they do the vaults. So not 100% sure right now.
All right. Then Neat Grape also wants to know, hey, Labrador Breeder, do you know how many other Aussies are in blockchain/crypto? I was listening to an AMA with Layer 1X and heard a bunch of familiar accents, made me wonder how well networked the scene down under is. Well, I know a few Australians in DeFi. You probably do as well, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, surprisingly, we're a small country, small population, but there are quite a few Australians in DeFi. I have met a few. Not here though. Not in Dubai. I haven't actually met any Australians in Dubai. As I said, I've met mostly Russians. But it's I'm sure they're around here. But I've definitely met Australians in crypto. For example, I haven't met him, but the Synthetics founder is Australian. Synthetics is a very major DeFi, like one of the first DeFi protocols that existed. And then his brother is the founder of Illuvium, which is a major game as well, and obviously he's Australian. So there are major people in DeFi that are Australian, and there's others that I've met that are not living in Australia. They're living, in the UK, in the US, mainly in the UK actually, that are originally from Australia too. So I mean, there's definitely Australians in crypto. There's plenty.
You made me look, by the way, you made me look like you said we're a small population. I'm like, Australia is huge. Like, what happened there? But you're only 25.7 million people. That's
very small.
That's funny. Like in the Netherlands, we've got like 17 million, and we're a lot smaller.
I know,
wow.
Right?
And that, but yeah. So yeah. I was amazed. You've got so much land to share between yourselves.
Well, I know, right? Most people. The funny thing is, most people are just in like the three major cities, and we can say like two major cities on the coast, and that's about it.
Funny that. Okay, so Neat Money also wants to know, hey, low-key builder. It's great to see your time freed up from Grape so that you can work on other interests of yours, like a soon-to-launch solidly fork Glacier. Is your time freed up from Grape? Like, that's kind of an assumption. Like, is it?
Well, it's not freed up, but as I mentioned before, prior, there's a couple of things that were pressing issues, like the nodes, and sort of cleaning up sort of some of the older things that we had to restructure into the new age. And now that they're done, which is nice, it's like a headache removed. So it's not that I'm freed up. It's very much that we are, focused on Vidium and Winemaker as well, and as well as kind of like a future plan for Grape incentives. But there's not as much day-to-day management as there was Prime, which is always nice. So and I do like solidly dexes, mainly because they do offer the ability for protocols to have or to incentivize the liquidity with very cheap incentives, and without inflation of your own token, which is always nice. So I'm very much a fan of that model.
Yeah. Okay. So the management, like the on-hand management, has gone down a little, and that made you able to focus on some things. Yeah, the day-to-day. All right. He also says, although I know that's a full-time job, that doesn't seem to stop you. Besides Grape, Vinium, and now Glacier, are there other projects you're involved with, or may potentially be? Like, do you have more than 3?
Well, there's different capacities for each. I mean, obviously, Grape and Vinium are my main focus, like main time spent. But I'm helping out with Glacier, as I said. That's more in like a advisor role, I guess you could say. But uh, on the dev side, obviously. But that's because I do like solidly uh, Dexes as well, and I think there's good potential for us in the future there. And obviously, Glaciers, they have a solid team as well, so they don't need me like direct hands-on. They already have the Magic team is involved, and Jumpman as well, obviously from Walrus is already there anyway.
Hmm.
So it's not like so I do actually technically advise a couple projects anyway. Like I do talk to NB Nick very
Mhm.
frequently anyway. And
For
I
up.
technically, well, because we do work on Vinium together. So I
Mhm.
do technically already talk to him anyway, but I do also do some development advising for UF.
Mhm.
And I mean that's really it. I don't really. I've wanted to not really spread myself too thin because it's doesn't work out great.
Yeah, I feel you.
And I like to focus on it's actually nice to focus on several things, and I feel like these things actually tie together really nicely. So that's why I'm doing it.
Right. Last question is, I know you've been helping with Celestial in some capacity. When it migrates over to Artsy, will you have any role in that? Well, I think it's up to me to answer that, actually. Um, yeah, so Celestial is going to migrate into Artsy. That is, as we've planned it, solely gonna fall on the shoulders of Chilio. Chilio is developing Artsy. Like we're working on that every day. Actually, I had to excuse myself from talks in that team to go and have this AMA. And when we do migrate to Artsy, yeah, I think that will just be Chilio doing that. So yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know each other well, and obviously
Yeah,
I talk to Chilo, relatively often as well. Like we know each other, so I mean, if
yeah.
there's ways for us to work together, like in terms of protocols working together that are mutually beneficial, then obviously that's another thing.
Yeah, we know where to find each other, and there was this nice switch out, like some code that you guys exchanged between yourselves. I mean that's the kind of nice things that you can do with your
Mm-hmm.
friendly protocols. But other than
Yeah.
that, I think Chilio has it covered over there. Let's go back to the AMA live chat and see what happened there. The Russians swapped him out. Who will pay me now? Yes, who will? Who will? Is there even payment still? LB Carl the Moon. Freed up with not to insinuate Grape doesn't require anything. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what Banders is typing, and other than that, I think we're sort of at the end. Banders is saying a lot coming to Grape, a winemaker. Vinium has been a busy last few months for the team, planning and building. Yeah, we'll start to leak some things soon to the community. That's a good teaser right there. And the money says, "Wait to leak until I've got my vintage back, please." And when Vinium go cross chain. Yeah, that's the first thing that Vinium will go cross chain on would be the what's it called again? That new network. I forgot its name.
Well, we will do ZK Sync.
Yeah, that
I'm
one.
pretty sure that's. But we're
Yeah.
actually already on Arbitrum and BSC now, so that's going to come maybe the next couple of weeks. We'll actually roll that out live.
Awesome. So, in a couple of weeks, need wine. All right. That brings us to the end of both the questions and the AMA live chat. Do you have anything you still wish to say about the weather in Dubai or anything else?
Well, the weather is very nice here. Actually, it's like 25 degrees Celsius pretty much every day. It's not too humid. It's actually very nice. It's probably hotter in Sydney right now. But I
That
hear
sounds
that it
good.
gets really hot in the next like 2-3 months. It gets like 40-50 degrees daily.
Oh,
So
wow.
we'll see how that is. But I probably won't be here during that time anyway, so it'll be all right.
You're welcome to flee to Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, well, then that kind of ends it. Meaning we would like to thank everyone for being here and asking their questions. And thanks a lot for correcting me in having skipped a couple of questions. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for, keeping an eye out. And yeah, see you guys next week, I think.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your questions, and yeah, we'll see you next week. I don't know which
All right.
day. We'll sort that out.
Yeah, we'll find a day. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, as I announced in the announcement, Owen from
Yeah.
World of Magic will be hosting his first incentivized tournament for the Grape faction, like basically in a little bit over an hour, so an hour and 20 minutes. I've asked him to come to this AMA to speak on stage to say something about it, but we're kind of done early, so he's not here yet. But please just look at the announcement, head over there. I see that my invite is invalid. That's weird. Well, the thing is to just go to their Discord, like the Discord that Magic Finance has, and look at their main stage, and find it there. So Owen will take it from there and show everything to everyone. So please
Yeah.
have a look there. Could
Definitely.
be a,
If you haven't
could be
played the game, you should definitely play the game. It's pretty fun.
yeah, shoot arrows. It can be fun. So yeah, shout out to that. Have a look over there and see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Thanks, Aaron.